The Radium Podcast, episode 40.
Oh yeah, big 4-0.
We made it to 40. Someday I'll be 40.
Congratulations to me. I'd like to thank myself. I did a really good job. I was there when I needed me.
Yeah.
I was working hard. I did it all myself. Thank you.
Amen. He did it all on his own, just like every rapper out there. They never had any help. Just remember that. No rappers get help, any of them. They all make it on their own.
I took that from Snoop Dogg. He did like a acceptance speech. Did you see that one?
No.
Yeah, he got up. He's like, I'd like to really thank myself. I've been working hard. I was there when I needed myself.
It's all me. I did it. No help, no label, no A&R, no friends, no family. We do it all on our own, right? So, today we're going to be, what are we talking about, Kev?
Today we're talking about the billboard. We haven't done this in a long time. We got a little throwback to Radium.
Top 10?
Yeah, Radium TV, man. That's when we started this.
Back in the Diaz.
So, yeah, we're talking about the latest, the greatest Billboard Hot 100, which is the top 100 singles in the country. This is not albums, it's singles.
Nice.
So at number 1, Sicko Mode, Travis Scott.
What else are we talking about, though? Today, what are we going to be talking about the way through?
You want to hear it, man? We're talking about Fab Filter, Pro Q3.
Nice.
We got the Gear Talk. And then lastly, we have AI and mastering, dude.
Nice.
Real deep, nerdy topic.
Yeah, we're going to get into some nerdy shit. But first, we got to talk about the plastic music of 2018. Going into 2019, I really do believe that the top 10 is going to be replaced by at least 30% AI by 2024.
AI singers or AI beat makers or AI mixing engineers?
100%. I really don't think... I think that the reason that the top 10 even exists with these artists there is that they have really big brands with huge marketing budgets. They got the cog, they got the wheel, they got the huge machine pushing them. It's all greased up, and it's the Ronald McDonald's of McDonald's.
You know, we need like an AI publicist for the podcast. Like, what's up? Can we hire like a robot to get this popping?
And it's funny because like I would do like the robot sound, but like robots just don't sound like that anymore. They sound very smart, authentic.
Hi, Bradley.
Yeah. Hi, Bradley. Welcome. Like the Google Voice shit and stuff.
All right, back to the Billboard, dude.
Yeah. So what do we got at number 10?
Oh, okay, you want to start backwards?
Run through them.
Man, Lucid Dreams, dude, by Juice WRLD. So let's get to kind of the facts. This was a huge song by Sting before anything Juice WRLD came. So it's a hit built on top of a hit.
Built on top of a hit.
Yeah, right. It's like you built a really dope house out of a mansion.
Yeah,
that was already existing.
Yeah, that track was sampled. It's the guitar player really from Sting, but and I forget his name, but someone out here is like yelling it right now. But yeah, that's the guitar part from him, and it was actually put into a movie soundtrack, and I forget the movie as well, but that was back in the days, and that has been sampled by so many people. I mean, I think Nas...
just in this year.
Nas got a track who, like, that
Tory sampled it this year.
The Nas track was a huge one. Tory wasn't really that big. That wasn't a big deal at all.
I like that song, though. The one they did was with Tory and 50 Cent. That one was dope.
Yeah, I thought it was dope, too. Yeah. Super dope. The thing is, though, this one was like a massive hit, and Juice WRLD's still on the top 10, which is crazy to me.
I don't want to take too much from Juice WRLD. I think like he came in and he was unique. He sounded like
I think so too.
He sounded like 90s kind of punk pop mixed with some trap rap.
I like his melodic content on it. I like the emotional aspect he put to it. The writing is really good by Juice WRLD. The producing is really lazy. No, it is. It's just like it's boring.
Burn.
It's not a diss. It's like anyone could do that. Like, oh, I remade it. Dude, yeah, okay. You know, like people do that every day. It's not a hard thing to go and listen to something and then like put it in MIDI.
You ever search like instrumentals on YouTube and it's like someone remade?
It's like, oh my God, you're so talented. I can't believe you did that. And then put trap drums on it. Wow, unbelievable. I don't even think like the tempo was very shifted, maybe a little bit. But anyway, the interesting part about that beat is that the song itself is that Sting is taking like 80% of that or something. So, so these guys bitch about that, but I don't understand that at all. I think that if anything, the song helps them to be on the billboards.
I think it was
people get to know them. Like people know Juice WRLD now, and they know Nick Mira. You know, they know these guys and the people that were part of this this song, and that's great for them. It made them huge and world famous instead of just SoundCloud rappers and writers. So they should be happy about that, and that they got any money from it, to be honest. I think Juice WRLD, of course, your lyrics are amazing, dude. Like, your melodies, everything, like, that shit is so timeless to me.
I'm confused, because, like, usually they do those splits, or at least they try to, before the song is a massive hit.
Yeah, it would have been a good idea.
Before release, so I don't know.
Especially when you're sampling Sting. But, lesson learned from a new generation that doesn't really understand that very well. They think that, I think that a lot of producers of this generation, they don't understand the history of that song or the history of that actual loop. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, we can go really far into that, but we won't.
And we have
number 9.
More important things to talk about.
Yeah, like number 9.
Number 9, which is Girls Like You, Maroon 5, featuring Cardi B.
Massive smash.
Flame. No, I'm just kidding.
Flame's so different from anything I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, it's okay. The writing is strong, but the writing is really kind of expected generic.
Oh yeah.
Whoever did it obviously like had very strong pen game.
Yeah. But
it's like, come on, man. It's like the beat.
I don't think it's whoever did it. I think it was a team of people, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but the beat, man, like this kind of goes back though, kind of I've been kind of preaching if you know me in real life. I've been saying that like trap music and hip hop's just bleeding into pop super hard right now.
Yeah.
And you can hear it with this track. So this is like a pop track with like trap 808s and distorting the 808s and stuff. But it's like done so subtle that you wouldn't like, oh, it's no, it's normal.
I think it was the part of it that I really like is it kept a warmth to it with the acoustic guitar stuff, and it was very what's the best word for that? It was very safe.
Yeah.
Like, it was very inviting.
You know what?
I think like families can listen to it and they're like, oh, that's so sweet. It's a nice song. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to hate on this song. I think hip hop and you want to say urban. I don't say urban. I say black music because it is black music. And I hate the fact that people say urban music. It's like totally discrediting that this came from the black culture. But yeah, I think that's everywhere.
That's
now.
a deep topic, but
I don't think you get. I don't think you get to talk about though like urban genre and hip hop and stuff as if it's different from pop anymore. That's so stupid to me.
Well,
it's been years now. Sorry.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is I'm more so talking about trap bleeding into pop, which is a little bit.
Whatever.
It's a subgenre.
Trap's not even trap's pop now. It's been that way for years now.
No, but what I'm saying is it's bleeding into pop, and when that happens, the fucking clock's ticking for all you trap producers.
Oh yeah. Oh sure. Just
when is this apparent? That's when the clock's really ticking for you guys. So.
Just like dubstep. And,
yeah, exactly. What I was going to say though, this
house.
Yeah, to summarize my opinion on this song, it's speaking of AIs doing music, it feels like a little bit like AIs did this song.
Oh, 100%. I feel like it was put through that IBM algorithm, whatever algorithm it was, and just spit it out, and it was like, hey, this is really nice.
Equation.
This is going to work for the masses.
We put
number 9 on billboards for a while.
5, 7. No,
percentile. They don't talk like that anymore, though. It was
okay,
I think
sorry.
The percentile will be high on this.
Hi, Bradley.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 8. Now, this is Lil Baby and Gunna, Drip Harder. I think
this is perfect example of what you just said. Trap bleeding into pop. Lil Gunna and Lil Baby. Is that
Lil Baby and Gunna?
Okay, Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Gunna should just put a Lil in front of his name.
No.
Why not? Why not? They all do. Like Lil Gunna, Lil Baby, Lil whoever. Like, here's the thing with this. This is like a trap SoundCloud rap, and it's number 8 on the billboards.
Okay, I think you got to understand a little bit about these artists, and then you understand that this song is not a hit because this song is a hit song. It's a hit because they have momentum. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, I understand. Believe me, because trap is pop. That's my whole point.
Yeah. I mean, rap is pop. It's beyond just the trap
this
genre.
is super trap though. This is trap, rap, whatever you want to call it.
But it's ATL. Pop. It's ATL once again, just like mainstay,
just
dominating rap. But Lil Baby, Gunna, they've been like seriously like some of the biggest artists to drop in the last year and a half, 2 years.
And their mixes are always shit. Sorry, whoever's engineering it. You suck.
But they're coming up under QC, the label, which is Lil Yachty, the Migos, you know what I mean? It's just right out of that. It's really cool to see QC, able to go ahead and, create these super artists out of, trap music and make them, top artists in the world as far as sales. So
it's money and marketing. And,
he's got the formula down. Yeah. So
it's business, guys. Guess what? This is like, there's nothing special about this song to me, like, or to probably the masses, but because it's Lil Baby and Gunna, and you got people like Drake and all these other people co-signing and talking about it all the time. What do you think?
But I think they built that audience. I give it to them for building that audience, because you didn't see the Drake co-sign till like way later. I first heard about him on like Young Thug, like I guess at least Gunna. I first heard on like Young Thug's mixtape from like 3 years ago, and he was like, he wasn't a household name, I can tell you that, and now he is. So
I hear those songs everywhere. It's like, that's the thing with marketing, man. Like, you do the marketing right, you do the business right, you can get the worst mixes, the songs that are lukewarm, and push the brand.
It's dope though. It's
a good brand. I mean, and that could totally be their whole idea. Like, hey, let's make the mixes really fucked up and washed out and real shit, and just push this sound, like this gutta sound, which is, people are gonna start stealing it. I guarantee it.
I mean, they already have.
But I mean, like, mainstream is going to start bringing this in.
As far as the family tree of where these guys are kind of like the new wave where everyone's kind of following.
Yep.
As far as it's mumble rap, I would say, if we want to go that. I know people hate that classification, but it is kind of designated at this point.
Yeah.
It's that with like a lot of melody, because before mumble rap was really just like really nonsensical, but now it's like super melody based.
Right.
So they're leading the wave on that. It really comes from Young Thug. If you hear that song, it's like I hear Young Thug. It's like influence. And really, Family Tree, Young Thug sounds like Lil Wayne. So you know what I mean, these are all little offsprings of Lil Wayne as far as sound. So
it's all like the evolution of that.
But let's move on to ZZ by Kodak Black at number 7, featuring Travis Scott and Offset.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Scott, dude. You put Travis Scott on anything, you're gonna do pretty all right.
I honestly think this song, I'm not really too deep into it, and I really am a heavy trap music type of guy. But I'll say that the beat is probably the standout for me with this one. And I get that, Kodak Black, it has made a lot of waves. Yeah, exactly.
But it's just meme, and it's marketing, and it's pushing and promoting. Like, without that, like, come on, we've heard those like cool licks many times. It reminds me actually of like 50 Cent stuff, Candy Shop and things that, or
Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, those those iconic little riffs, those little sample things.
Yeah. So I like the beat, and like I said, a background brand like Kodak Black, his brand's really strong, and he makes headlines, past TMZ.
Yeah, all you gotta
because
do
he's
is
in and out of jail.
You just gotta go to jail. You gotta fuck up some stuff and get your name in the news and on whatever platforms you can, and you'll be popping too.
But other than that, I mean, I really don't have too much to say. I mean, I don't really know if this song has a lot of staying power, but who am I? You know what I mean? Right. To even say that.
Well, here's the thing. Like, for me, things that land on the billboard or radio and do really well, they're melodic based, and this one is no different. It's just the melody is in the actual writing of the beat. It's in the beat. It's not in the vocals. Like, I don't know anything about the song. Like, I don't remember anything besides that little marimba xylophone thing. That's it. And like, people fucking love that, right? And then they got the meme with everyone in the studio doing this, and then that just got reposted everywhere, and then people, just blew up into a meme.
Let's go to number 6, because I think this is a more interesting one, which is Mo Bamba by Sheck Wes. I really like the song. It's really weird and it's unexpected. It's kind of the wild card on the billboard, and that's what I like seeing. Like, people who like this, I understand it now being on the billboard, but if you were to hear this before like everyone was, on the hype train, I think you wouldn't have like expected that to be number 6
right.
in the world.
Yeah, who knows?
So this song, like
it's an outlier.
Yeah, Sheck West just has a lot of character, man. Like when you get on the mic and you kind of stand out because you have a lot of character, like you kind of get the rewards.
It's another way of working in 2018, 2019. It's like, be different.
Yeah, he stands out. He stands out. And this song stands out. It shouldn't be here, but it is. It's not like the most melodical song.
Melodical's not a word.
Yeah. Well,
most melodic
you know what
song.
I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But I really like seeing like music that is unexpected, and this was unexpected. So.
Yeah, totally.
And hats off to that guy for, doing something different and going against the grain, because
keep pushing. Keep doing it.
It's really hard to
people will chase him one day,
Yeah.
I'm sure they already are.
I mean, it's somewhere between like, I don't even know, like Kendrick and Rich the Kid, and I don't know. Yeah, it's really hard to make comparisons. I think you just got to listen to it and figure it out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
It's cool though. After that, we have High Hopes, Panic at the Disco. This is kind of a comeback, right?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing is, what are we at, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get into the top 5, and I mean, even 10 was or 9 or whatever was Maroon 5. It's like people are really looking for the hopeful, uplifting songs. That's always been pop, and no matter what, in the top 10, you're always going to have these songs on here that are in the top 5 that are hopeful, inspiring, motivating. I don't know what you want to say, but it has to be something that it's like uplifting in some way. It can't, like, you're not really ever going to see the top 5, just all top 5 is like dark shit, right?
Well, we might.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe, but it's very, 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 very rare. I think the top 5 is always sprinkled with these motivating, positive things because they get around. They get commercial licenses, they get TV, they get movie licenses, they get bigger than the world. And the reason is because they reach a much wider audience than just, the kids that are on Instagram,
Yeah, I'll say, like, I don't know too deeply about Panic at the Disco's chart performance, but I haven't seen something from them in so long.
No, good for them. And,
it's
and honestly,
cool.
they're super musical. Like, the thing about that band and that group and the front man, I don't know his name, but is they're very musical. They pay a lot of attention to their engineering, their mixes, their production's always they're very produced up. And a lot of people are like, oh man, it's overproduced and all that, but whatever, that's pop music, right? It's always been that way.
Yeah, I'll say about the production, since you're talking about that, is that it reminds me of like old school, like 2010 DJ Toomp, T.I., Young Jeezy records, you know what I mean? With like, the horns and the strings and you know what I mean? Or what was the Mano and T-Pain? I mean, even like the DJ Khaled stuff too. Put your hands in the air and they stay there. Yeah. It's like, it reminds me of that era of hip hop. So it was like, It's a little bit of a throwback. I know everyone else who's like, at least 30 and older is gonna be like, yeah, that was like last year.
Yeah. But I think the big difference is all those references you made.
Yeah.
Those are all based off of 2, 4, 8-bar loops.
Yeah.
This song has a lot of turnarounds. It has a lot of cadences. It has a lot of different things that happen musically that those genres never did.
It's modern. I'm not saying it's that, but
it's not even modern. I think it's just musical. It's like the way like Queen would write. You have those parts of the song where they have these completely different chord shifts and changes and borrowed chords and things that are very musical that you don't. Not a lot of these producers even know how to do well. They just go and get stuck in the 4-bar loop.
I simply say, when you're playing like those motivational chords on like keyboard strings and like doing chugs, and then doing like horn lines and stuff like that, like on keyboards, it just kind of it takes me back to that era. And when everyone was working off of like you had like a Phantom G, you know what I mean, and you had the 88 key version,
the Roland Phantom,
and you're running
the Triton.
you're running it into your MPC, and you know what I mean. You're Manny Fresh knocking out beats, you know what I mean, or whatever it was.
I mean, I don't know much about Panic at the Disco, but I think they're from that time period. That's
it's probably
totally makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the throwback comeback season. But next up is number 4, Halsey, Without Me.
Weird. Halsey's on the Billboard at number 4.
Halsey. I always call it.
That's crazy.
What should I say about
this?
It's
no surprise whatsoever.
I'll say that the reason I think this song is where it is, I do think like it has a sense of catchiness, and I'm not trying to take away from like the actual material itself, but I think the reason why it's as high as it is because it has to do closer to the drama about her and G-Eazy. So it's like people are like trying to get into her head, and so let's listen to her song. And then you watch the music video, and they got like the look like the stand-in, and it's like okay, so
it's marketing.
Yeah, but she's putting herself out there, and I think that's what people wanted to be. All the TMZ want to get personal and know the story and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of what pushed the song out there, and the fact that like you have a look like in the video, and
totally,
you know what I mean. So you're not shying away from what it is. You know what I mean. So
pretty obvious here.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what sold the song. The song to me, its production is kind of what you'd expect from a Halsey pop song.
Yep.
The hook is semi catchy, but I mean it's not. It didn't scream like number 4 on the Billboard, but that's like I said. I think what we've kind of like after talking about this for so long, because we've done this since Radium TV, but like basically it like having a strong brand. This is kind of like the core,
like and sometimes 1, 2, and 3.
Like sometimes it's not even about the material, like I said, and it's about like having a moment or capturing a moment or having the momentum, and that's I think this song is kind of like it being a moment.
I think it's important to point out that Halsey's team and the people involved with these songs, kudos to them for paying attention. Yeah. Because without that, like Halsey could be like, I just want to do this. I want to do what I want to do, and they're like, listen, like you have a career. We're paying attention, right? We see what happens. We see you on the news. We see what's going on. We see what the fan letters say.
My girlfriend gets TMZ updates.
Right. We want TMZ. We see how involved people are with your life. Why don't you let them in a little further? I think that's really important in business. Like if you're talking about music and number 4 on the billboards, you're talking business, guys. We're not talking like this crazy artistic endeavor. It's truly about the business.
Gary says storytell, right?
Yeah, so storytell. Let people in. Get personal with people. Let them connect with you like they know you, and let them know you more.
Okay, number 3 we have Happier, Marshmello, and Bastille.
Yeah, this is an interesting track.
I'm not like a big fan of this, but then again, maybe it's just not for me. You know what I mean?
It's again,
wasn't made for me.
Inspirational, hopeful, uplifting. What are we, number 3?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'll say though the major thing about this was that no one expected Bastille and Marshmello to make a song together, so the randomness of that collab was probably one of the major selling points.
But it's still so safe.
Yeah, it's real safe, kind of pop. You know what I mean? Like,
and it still has the Bastille melodies and the chord progressions under him that he likes. All I remember about Bastille was like he had one big song and that kind of sold his album, and he went on tour and he got really big and people put him all over movies and shit, and now he's big or something. I don't know. I didn't know anything about Bastille until he had that, until you close your eyes and you feel like you.
I like it when Brad sings.
But they played that shit over and over and over
exactly.
again. Like that was like literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And so another really great example of good business, good marketing, beating a melody into people's heads.
Yeah. It's back to AIs creating music. This is kind of what I'd expect from an AI.
Yeah, they were like, this was your single, this was your hit. They put it into the computer. They're like, boop, 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 boop. Percentage, pop out, new hit, percentage, 95 percentile.
We talk a lot of shit, but
it's pop music. We have to talk shit. There has to be some shit being talked.
Here's the thing, like when you produce like me and Brad do, you see patterns, and I start seeing patterns over and over and over and over again, and I'm like,
we only
so that's what you guys are up to. You know what I mean? So like, it's like when I say AIs did this, because I see too many patterns in there that I notice. It's decoded.
I honestly think like once they can get the AI artists to brand out, like there's going to be humans aren't going to be so involved with music. I mean, they aren't like literally there's guys like pressing buttons to like, you know, auto stuff. It's like you just like soon it's just going to be like, okay, like the guy at Walmart, you know, they got the automated cleaning systems now at Walmart. So they just like hit the thing and then it like cleans the floors. You know what? That's what engineering will be like in 5 years. It'll be like, yeah, man, I got to tune these vocals and get all this stuff. No, just hit the thing like 3 times.
How'd it
come out? I don't know. I picked C.
I got a AI business proposal. The first one to create a app that auto fills your lyrics. Like you type in the first 5 lyrics and then it can auto fill the rest of it. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're on,
that already is.
That when exists. You're on Gmail.
That exists. That's they have all sorts. Grammarly's a good example of that. But yeah, there's tons of AIs that already do that.
You need the songwriting version though. Of course, there's like, you know, that'll finish your sentence. But
easy.
You need the AI song autofill app.
They already have AI chord progression stuff where you just put it in and you drag it in MIDI. Like, come on.
Speaking of robots, let's get to Thank You Next by Ariana Grande.
Right. Well, you know, just put the formula in. It's so hard to talk about the billboards because it's like, cool. Yeah,
I know.
This is about the same as it's always been.
I feel like a grumpy old man or something. Do I look like I'm washed up? I
think it would just be different if that was what we did, like we just chased billboards.
No, I like it because I
want to be on the billboards.
I actually like a lot of these songs on the billboards, maybe like about at least 4 of them.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the biggest thing is like Ariana Grande, like she truly means it. Like that's who she is. She's a pop kid. Like
yeah.
So hey. At least she's being true to self.
She's a mega brand, so she's kind of, I don't know if it's last of a dying breed, but it's like it's you have like your Taylor Swift,
she's
Selena
the new
Gomez,
Britney Spears,
Selena Gomez,
Swift.
What else? Ariana Grande. Like there's these like major pop brands that have to like intertie with like
Celine
TV.
Dion.
No, they're like TV show kids that you know do singing on the side that like blow up. It's like the 10-step program. Yeah. So she's like
the 10-step program.
So she like you submit your kid to be a pop star and then they go through the program. Yeah. So okay, first we're gonna put you on this TV show, and then second you're gonna get into music. You're gonna be edgier on your music. Yeah.
Hey, just show a little bit of your boobs.
So
I think that's how it gets, and it's just that's the part that kind of I'm like.
Okay, but back to let's talk about the actual content of this song.
I know what you're gonna say. Oh, there's Portamento
808s.
Synth bass, so it's trap. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, the things that we used to do like 7 years ago, that was like, wow, that's fresh.
Yeah.
And when you start hearing it like on pop
like
music,
lukewarm on pop music.
Yeah, like lukewarm.
We're tiptoeing into
it. Yeah. So when it was like fresh, like 5 years ago, and I was like, you know, bending the 808 like crazy like that. Yeah. It's like, damn, that was hard. Yeah. And then I heard it on Ariana Grande, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, it's kind of like I remember when that was a thing.
I think it's important. It's very important to separate the artist from the it's like manufacturing versus artistry.
Yeah.
Like the guy that like makes something and like puts passion into it and like makes it with their hands, or there's you know, they put their all into it, they try to break the molds and stuff. And then there's like manufacturing. And they're like, yeah, just look at that. Look at the paper and then follow those instructions. And then it goes down like an assembly line. I think pop producers now, they're like, yeah, I open up output, I get my, my vocal synth stuff, and I do this, and then I chop that, and I do that. And then I like add my drums from Splice, and then I do that. And it's like a manufacturing process now. Mm-hmm. And I think the artist within any producer, no matter what, even those guys making these pop songs, they cringe quite a bit. The artist goes, what are we doing, man? But then they're like, man, I'm trying to make a living.
You know what I wonder?
This makes sense to me.
Because we deal with like commercial producers and, you know, stuff like that. You know, like people making creative decisions that maybe aren't necessarily a creative themselves.
Well, yeah, because they have the money.
Yeah. So back to this pop music. It's like, do you have like a guy like, man, you guys should do a Portamento 808? I heard that, you know what I mean, from a trap song.
I don't think so. I think the producers that make these tracks really are, trying to do that. They're trying to like, and then I thought of this fresh idea to do a Portamento 808. I really do. I think that they're just a pop producer nowadays. To me, is like a lukewarm artist that is having a battle. Like they're battling the artist in them from the manufacturer that needs to make money and pay bills.
Yeah,
and keep the nice house in the hills. I think that's the struggle, and hopefully when you're like a dope pop producer, you get to bring in different aspects that you still find creative, right?
Yeah,
like you can bring an artist. Like Ariana Grande, you can bring her into a little bit of trap, and you can like do stuff that you don't typically do and kind of play with it. And for trap producers, you're like, yeah, that's some lukewarm shit. But for that pop producer, they're like, yeah, I'm exploring new stuff. Like I put country in there. So I think it's cool. I'm not hating on any of it. I just think they're just two different things. It's like I'm an artist. I want to do my artist thing, and then there's like the manufacturing, and then of course like there's the branding and the big machine that needs to get paid, and they got to see an ROI on the investment and the money they're putting into the project, paying for the studios and all the promotion and marketing. Let's just remember the promotion and marketing and the music videos and all that stuff that costs 1,000 times more than going to the studio and recording or getting the producer involved. Yeah.
Oh, just so that we don't sound like bitter old men talking about the pop chart. Like
we're not old men. I'm only 35, man. You're 28.
I know, but
you're a baby.
I'm
in your
saying
20s.
We sound like that. I don't say we're physically like that.
But I feel old. Just kidding.
What I'm trying to say is just to give like a little history lesson. The Portamento 808. It really started with Fruity Loops because you had the ability to do Portamento notes so this kind of like happened.
But that's not true. The Portamento note started with analog synthesizers.
No, I'm saying the ability to do note per note.
You're talking in 808s.
Yeah, in the 808 in a DAW was Fruity Loops. And so when Fruity Loops started becoming like hugely popular for popular music, that's when people started experimenting more. With the you couldn't do that on MPC. Exactly. So that's the Fruity Loops. When that started kind of like becoming massive, that's in music. Then that's where people really got that.
That was definitely the popularity of it, breaking into trap music and mainstream stuff.
But if you listen to trap now, like you hear. Even Nick Mira, for example, his beats, you're not going to find a lot of the bending 808s kind of like had a moment. And then, just like every trend, it just kind of like, goes up. And then when it catches on, it's like, remember when dabbing, was like the coolest thing ever when Migos were doing it?
I skipped that phase.
Yeah. And then football players started dabbing, and then everyone, white moms in Nebraska started doing the dab.
Always named like a Nebraska, Montana, Idaho. Poor people in like, middle America, they're just like, fuck you guys.
But back to that being black culture, so when you saw white moms in Nebraska doing the dab, that's when things was like super dead. Yeah. So this is kind of like I said with the Portamento thing with the 808s, it's just kind of, that's what it reminds me of.
Totally. What's number one?
Number one. That's Brad's like mouth drum roll. If you're wondering what that is, it's not a dog. It's not a seal.
That's not a cat purr, motherfucker.
Okay, number one is Travis Scott featuring Drake.
Oh,
Sicko
weird.
And
this is why the billboards are boring.
Yeah.
Oh, Drake is number one. That's crazy.
You know what? This song just to like not undersell it. It has a little bit of sauce.
I think this song is dope as fuck. Everyone knows this song is dope as fuck, and the switch up and everything. Like,
people didn't expect it. It's dope. Like it's not following the loop formula where you just loop one song.
Yeah, and I love it's super Travis Scott and it's super Drake.
Yeah.
It's not like one or the other.
Well, it's
like,
two songs, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's both of them. Like you got the Travis Scott part and you got the Drake part, and they're both very, very much their own personalities. I think this was a really good play on the business aspect. They're like, let's do a Travis Scott song, and then it turns into a Drake song. So it's like two songs in one. Like, done.
Did you see
one of the billboards?
Did you see the video for it?
No.
The video for it is better than any music video I've seen in probably the last decade.
That's that money. That's that cheddar.
And it's not because like there's some amazing storyline being told. No, it's because it's like the artisticness and like it's artsy as hell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when people have huge budgets like that and they spend it on being
Weird.
creative.
Yeah.
Instead of like, and then there's going to be a high school scene. And then we end up at the club.
And the girl's going to cry.
Yeah, we're just at a club. And then we're just popping bottles. And there's just strippers. And we should be throwing money on them.
And then she's going to be sad that he went and fucked with strippers at the club. I don't know. What I was going to say,
that's my life. I'm a rock star. That's how it ends.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This song is like creative in the sense of the production. Take Heed did the production. Take Heed, like, of course, you've seen him. He kind of came up with Block Boy. And then Drake kind of borrowed Take Heed from Block Boy.
Okay.
As if a producer's like a side piece or something.
Yeah.
And then eventually Take Heed
took him out for dinner.
And then Take Heed produced this. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other producers too.
I was going to say, there's no way he did that.
Yeah, if you know Travis Scott's production credits, it's always 1,000 producers on it.
Yeah.
But you can hear his tag at the beginning, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and credit him first.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter who actually did it.
Nope.
It's whoever got
Who's
credited.
the brand? Who's the brand?
But yeah, I'll say the execution of the song, like you said, from a musical standpoint, really great. The music video, I'm probably gonna have to show Brad because it's one of those things you just got to watch and then like
I'm gonna get really high and watch it.
Yeah, if you get really high for it, you really digest that. But
I want to be high out of my mind when I watch it.
But yeah, that's number one. And there's been kind of like a surge of Travis Scott sales because like Travis Scott and Tekashi 6ix9ine were going at it for the number one spot in the 200, which is albums, the Billboard 200. But so what's kind of happened is that Travis Scott, his album is spiking again along with this song,
right?
Because he's selling merch and then you get a copy of the album when you buy the merch, you're getting a copy of the album, so it's counting as a record sale. So he's selling T-shirts or hoodies and stuff. So that's like back to good business. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
So
Taylor Swift signed her deal, kept her masters.
Really?
Yep. Her latest deal.
I didn't even hear it.
100% of her masters.
Yeah. Well,
that's a boss. These guys can't touch Taylor Swift though.
You know what? I feel like Taylor Swift is a brand. Yeah,
yes.
She's a physical person, but that is a damn machine.
But it's going to like Taylor Swift Incorporated,
her
like Taylor Swift me as a person.
Her record label is literally named Big Machine.
Yeah,
Big Machine Records. So
she's literally she is an AI.
Yeah, she's a hologram.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
she's not. She's too perfect, right?
She's a robot.
Her business is too perfect.
She's a robot,
and she looks like like a computer generated image too. So
yeah,
we're just gonna go ahead and roll that out. She's a robot.
I used to think she was cute before she became an AI.
Conspiracy solved, dude. That's when you need like the what do you call it? The X-Files like little whistle, right. A little sign whistle.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so should we go deep into the AI? Brad's been ready for the AI action. All the whole entire episode is like, but AIs are gonna do this. So,
dude, you're gonna like. I'm like right now. I'm a little obsessed about this stuff.
We had Jay Romero on 2 podcasts ago, and you're going in about the gaydar AI, right?
I couldn't stop talking about AI.
Yeah,
but I think it's just because the world is changing right now and everyone's not paying attention. And I think that part of it is weird to me.
Judgment Day.
It's weird to me that people are like, yeah, it's fine, man.
Go
just
watch Terminator.
Keep giving me a better iPhone and I won't pay attention to anything. Give me more Netflix, give me more shit to binge watch and I won't pay attention.
Let me ask you, speaking of AI, do you use Siri? Are you deep on the Siri game?
No,
I don't either.
Siri's, fuck that.
Because that thing learns you. Siri, you tell, hey Siri, can you look up
like deep
Italian
learning, right?
restaurants? Siri's taking notes. She's like,
I like that though. I want someone to take notes. Like, if it was me, I'd hire someone like, hey, you're gonna learn what I like, what I don't like. Where they go, hey, you wanted some ramen, right? I know your spot. I'm gonna get you that spicy miso ramen.
They're gonna know if you like 1-ply or 2-ply toilet paper. AI's gonna be like, get the 2-ply.
But anyone that really knows me knows that I'll like get into something and then I'll just fucking throw a like complete 360 on people. And they're like, dude, what? You don't like that anymore? No, I'm into this now. And then I'll just get like super obsessed on something else.
But the AI is going to know your pattern because that's a pattern for you, Brad. And he's like, yeah, he's about to flip. So
yeah, right. There's some sort of pattern in there. There's got to be, right?
Humans are patterns, right?
Yeah, we're not so difficult as we think we are.
Yeah, so what we're going to talk about with AI, because AI is a very deep topic, and we could go
we don't want to get
the damn
too
place.
Crazy
we're going to keep it with music, and we're talking about AI tools within mixing and mastering, mostly mastering. Break it down, Brad.
Yeah, AI is a lifesaver with mastering, with mixing. Isotope is probably one of our go-to tools here. I'm sure any engineer that's serious uses Isotope. They use Ozone 8, they use the Neutron 2, 3, now they got Neutron 3 out. FabFilter just, put out the Pro Q3, which is using AI as well. But I think a lot of this stuff is really important to understand, that it's cool that you can work alongside it, and the old school engineers that are like avoiding it, they're the ones that are really just fucking themselves. Producers, engineers, songwriters, people should be using this stuff. They should be using these tools, because not only is I'd say the majority of people making music in bedrooms and non-tuned rooms and areas where they really don't know what's going on with anything. They use the AI and the adaptive learning stuff with Ozone especially, and they can get a lot better results a lot quicker. And, I want to see AI get incorporated into preamp gain staging, where it would just go whoop, 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 and it would just be like, okay, I'm just going to ride the fader for you, figure it out for you. Because so many artists that we work with that are independent, they might clip out the mic.
Yeah.
We might have to go in and fix all that stuff. We have to fix, weird phasey stuff. I'm really interested in that part of the engineering aspect and producing of records and music.
Yep.
Bring more AI into it, because it's going to make things a lot better and easier. But there's also you got to be careful with artifacts and using your ear still, because AI is just not there yet, no matter what anyone tells you, especially with audio. Audio is super complex and complicated. There's different, not only is a song so complex, even if it is pop music, as far as mixing it, mastering it, producing it, writing it, recording it.
It's physics.
It's physics, and it's physics to the nth degree. Everything's very micro. So there's just a lot of things that you have to pay attention to if you want to have the upper echelon of what's going out, in the biggest film studios, biggest records in the world. Because if we are talking about number 1 through 5 on the billboards, these are all very well engineered and produced records, whether we agree with the artistic thing or not.
I don't know. I feel like every time I've heard Travis Scott's album, it's kind of been a little weird on the engineer.
But I feel like that's that's done consciously. We want to distort it. We want it to be in your face, maxed out, limited.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that they push for to make it kind of more punk rock, Sex Pistols kind of vibe. But I definitely don't agree with it. I don't think it needs that. I think Travis Scott has a really great sound. They should go for a much more pronounced sound and deeper and wider and more dynamics.
I typically like Travis Scott when he's featured on DJ Khaled's album,
right, because
or Diplo or any number.
The engineering's way better.
Way better, yeah. So, but anyways, back to the AI. Yeah, these tools we use all the time.
Yeah, you just have to use them. You have to coincide with them.
I think the obvious use cases for AI right now is mastering. That's probably number 1. You see Isotope Ozone, you see Lander, you see there's a number of them, but there's mastering services and AI have kind of been going hand in hand. It's because most artists and producers really want to control their mix still. They still really want a deep, heavy hand in mixing. So.
Yeah. Well, because you know what you're going for emotionally. And there's a big difference between a trap record that's literally the same thing all the way through and throwing that on Lander versus an orchestral or commercial or TV score cue or something.
Yeah.
It's just so much more dynamic. The Landers and stuff, they just don't do a good job at it. I've noticed a lot of the times Lander is very elementary with its mastering. And then sometimes if the mix is really, really good and it's prepped really well for Lander, it can do a pretty good job. It can widen it out a little bit, give you a little more beef in the low end and do some things that you're like, oh, that's interesting. But I typically will use Lander to just see what its ideas are. And I think the same thing with ozone. Like, I'm like, what's your ideas? What do you think are bad frequencies here? Like, what are you liking? What are you not liking? And I'm like, oh, you took out what I really like.
For me, AI mastering is kind of like a one-size-fits-all type of shoe thing.
Exactly.
Right now, it's not like, and that doesn't really do good like when you have trap records and then orchestral. You know
Yeah, we do a ton of different stuff here, so it's like, how are you gonna? You can't rely on
the same shoe on.
And then how are you gonna do revisions on it? Like, that's the hardest part with this is like, the client goes, hey, we need this, this, and this, and I want my vocals to be up front more. Like, you don't know what Lander's gonna do.
Do I sound like a complainer when I say Lander's like kind of slow?
No, it is slow.
Yeah, it's really slow.
Yeah, but it's internet too. You got to remember that. Like, it's uploading to servers and server space, and I'm sure they don't have like the craziest, quickest servers.
Yeah, they're not Google.
Yeah, they're not Google, right? But besides that, these tools are really, 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 really great. They're great to have. Along with custom analog gear and all these other plugins we use and the UAD stuff, and to have like our hands on Isotope, Ozone, and Neutron, and these things that can really speed up workflows.
Isotope's the one, man. They're the leader.
Isotope is absolutely
they're the clear leader of AI.
Absolutely,
and
they sound the best. Like, honestly, they kick the shit out of Lander. I'm sorry, like, they can do stuff that Lander just doesn't do, like these other mastering services online as well. And I want to like add a lot of value here for all the artists out there that are independent and can't really afford to get mastering or mixing. And, it's like, if you can get your mix to a decent spot and use something like Lander, just be weary. Like you have to compare your stuff to other stuff. Because it'll just clip out all your shit, make it sound completely insane, maybe even worse than what you had. And I think that there's some sort of like safety net in people's brains where they go, I'm going to pop it on here and it's just going to be better.
And AI did it. It's safe.
And AI did it. I didn't do it because I don't know what I'm doing, but the AI knows what it's doing. And that's just not necessarily true. I think
it's a deep topic, but like I think a lot of what you always say to the audience is like, train your ear. Like,
spend time with
decisive. Understand.
Sweet filters, sweet EQs. Like crank a compressor, let it compress like crazy just to hear what it does and the artifacts it does, the attack, the release time. You can't do that with a Lander or an AI technology. They're just kind of like, hey, I think this is pretty right. But you're like, dude, I wanted this to be really punchy, and it might have flattened it out.
I mean, I think we both have a million ideas for Lander and how they could improve it.
Yeah,
my question is, like,
I'm sure they do as well.
Yeah, and they do as well. I'm just like wondering why it's where it's at. Because here's what I feel like with Lander, and I don't want to like sound like I'm just gonna sit here and shit on it, but I just feel like we're paying for them to beta test it.
Yeah,
and it's getting better every day and every year.
But isn't that the idea of deep learning?
Yeah, I guess so. But like, I just wish it was more of like a complete service. Like, for example, there should be a choose genre, you know what I mean? Thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, I don't want to put a score mix in, and I don't want you to boost the low end to infinity.
It really does. Like, all of a sudden you got a fucking rap record low end.
Yeah. It's like, can we get a genre
like a pizzicato string quartet?
Or if you put like an acoustic song in there and you just like you boomed out the acoustic guitar or something.
But anyway, I think there's some things to check out. You want to check out Lander, LANDR. You want to check, which stands for left and right, which I just found out from Matt here that runs the cameras, but also is our assistant engineer.
Big shout outs.
So I got the assistant telling me and learning me well. But
learned you well, boy.
Hey, learn me well. So that's really an important one. I think Lander is a really cool tool for spot composers that like work really fast. They can get their mix really pretty decent and really great. I would use Isotope over Lander any day, but
you got to know what you're doing.
Like I said, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to feed the machine. If you know what the machine eats really well, and the shit that it shits out is like the golden nuggets it'll give you. If you know how to feed it its greens and get the shit, I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway,
back to what Brad always preaches: like, hey, get your room tuned. Like, learn your speakers.
Practice.
Not to talk down on like
10,000 hours. I think really is like more like 50,000 hours.
It takes a long time to develop your understand really what you're looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just keep practicing.
Yeah, it's
don't rely on these things like they're the safeguard. And
I just put it through this to that to the isotope to the lander, and I got a record. You're like, dude, it sounds brittle and fucked up, and there's what the hell? Everything in mixing and mastering is preparing for the next thing. So it's like you got this thing, you're preparing for the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and then you're going back and you're making micro tweaks at the beginning again and at the end again and in the middle again, and you're just constantly like tweaking and tweaking and tweaking all the way through. It's not a process. It's not like you go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's like you go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then you go step 1, step 3, step 2, step 4, step 1, step 1, step 1, and you just like keep tweaking. But Lander doesn't know that, and Isotope doesn't know that, and they don't do that. So when they go like, yeah, here's what you should do with the low end, and that's how you compress it harder and get it louder, you gotta go like, okay, it did some crazy shit. It took out like 18 dB of 220 hertz. Maybe I need to go back and check what I got going on in the 220 hertz.
Okay, back to like not just shitting on Lander. Let's shit on Isotope a little bit while we're here.
Yeah.
Let's lay a big fat 4 on it. So
wow.
Isotope has like really good ideas, but like I said, I still feel like we're beta testing Isotope too.
Yeah.
Like
it's getting better and better every fucking
Nectar.
month.
Nectar looks really cool, but
same with UAD.
Yeah, but what Neutron, their track plugin, it's really only good for vocals, in my opinion. Yeah, I've used it for everything.
I think they figured that out with the Nectar 3.
I'm about to say Nectar 3 is really Neutron.
It's like Neutron 3.
4.
It's like they went like Neutron 2, everyone's using it for vocals. Let's make Nectar 3 because Nectar 1 and 2 was for vocals only.
Yeah.
Let's make Nectar 3 have all the stuff that Neutron had, which I think is genius, by the way. Like I have to get that plugin, and I will, but the biggest thing is the adaptive learning, and then finding like problem frequencies, and then following those problem frequencies, and then finding the harmonics and sweeping out the harmonics and chasing those frequencies. And an EQ that did that really cool was the Surfer EQ from
it's old school.
Yeah. Which
not that old, but
still. Which like follows, it tracks the problem frequency.
I didn't FabFilter have some?
Yeah, well that's what the Pro Q3 did too.
Yeah.
So these new tools are really, really fantastic. And you're not, if you put it back into like the 80s, 90s, 2000 and consoles and stuff, and you think about how those worked, how you had to like sidechain that to the gate to get the thing to open, and then you got a DS by doing this, and then fader. You got to automate it on the fader. Like that's what these programs are doing, like instantly.
Yeah.
With a button, you're like, doop. That's why the price of, you to be a producer, it goes down. So you better get really good at these tools.
Let's get back to shitting on Isotope real quick though. Let's bury the hatchet on this one.
Back to shitting on Isotope.
Okay, so here's what I really like. You know that these programs, Ozone can talk to Nectar, can talk to
yeah, that's cool.
So that's really cool. But if you put it into practice,
I like when they say talk to. They talk to each other.
They deep learn each other. Yeah. But when you put it into practice, it's really not as useful as you think.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you've tried that, but like it's just
like the masking and stuff.
No, you have Neutron and Ozone go back and forth. But
I don't do that shit.
Yeah, it's really like it's a cool idea, but maybe in like 10 years it'll be like killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's a cool idea. And like anything, it has to start somewhere.
So like back to what kind of I'm like, man, like do you guys do this now, or why don't you keep testing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like putting a bad software update out or something. So
it's business though.
RX also can talk to Ozone, Neutron.
That's kind of tight.
Yeah, so you can it's really you can put an Ozone into RX, the standalone program, and do all that. But it's just like these are all like cool ideas. It's just the workflow to me too is a little funky monkey.
But you do see that that's
the future though.
This is literally taking what my prediction is, and it's going to make it true in a couple of years.
Yeah,
it's like these things are starting to talk to each other. Like, hold on. You're saying that the denoiser D, mouth clicker D, whatever, is talking to the mastering plugin, is talking to the mixing plugin. So where does the engineer fit in there? They press a button or two, right? They go like, okay, I got to just put this into a thing, and then I hit the... They're like, learn.
Okay, but
there's your mix and master.
So we have this for mastering where you just upload your file. and then you get a master back, but it'll literally be isotope. Upload your stems, and you get a mix and master.
Yeah, and it'll start there, right?
Yeah.
But I think people will use it, they'll abuse it, and then the real artists, the real craftsmen will still be on top, and they'll be like, I use a little bit of that, but I have better ears than AIs.
So
I know how to connect to humans because I'm a human.
You know what we did last year? Or I mean, last podcast last year.
Last year we did.
Yeah, no, last podcast we did a poll for basically for what's his name, Tory Lanez versus Joyner Lucas. Yeah. Let's do a poll. Is Brad out of a job in 10 years or not?
Nah.
Due to AI, is Brad out of a job as a working mix engineer?
Nah, because I'll learn how to program AIs.
You tell me if AI is here to, elbow from the sky, you know what I mean?
Nah.
The Rock drop the hammer.
Nah, I'll be sucking the dick of an AI. I'll do whatever I got to do. I'm like, I love you, AI. It's like, you are my best friend.
You're going to be the mad taxi cab driver who got elbow shafted by Uber, you know what I mean? That's going to be Brad in 10 years.
Well, it's bullshit, but I drive for Uber now and for the other one, the Lyft, and I drive for,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. The servant becomes the master or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine, man. Just let it happen.
Brad's a good servant. Okay.
No, I'll get a different job. I'll be like...
He's getting into dentistry.
I'll be like, I write music for fun. I don't make my money in it. AIs do that. They make money for all the programmers. It'll be like LA will be like San Francisco is now. There'll just be a bunch of programmers like, I'm not working for you unless you're paying me $85,000 a year to program your AI. Starting, okay? I'm going to program your AI, and I'm going to try and get a house, and I'm just going to try dying it.
Well, I think you got to start thinking about which type of dentistry you want to be doing, Brad.
Yeah.
So
definitely,
once AI kills
definitely
your
plastic
music.
surgery shit. Yeah, that pays the most.
Yeah. So let's get back to AI.
No, I think we're over AI.
We got to shit on one more company.
You really killed this subject for me.
No, you chose this topic, so you gotta shit on this company. No,
Kevin, this topic chose me.
So we're talking about the Fab filter, and we've already talked about this a little bit. Mm-hmm. Pro Q3.
Yep.
So
amazing.
Just because just so we're fair, we shitted on Isotope, we shitted on Lander. I think we do the full round of.
You suck, Pro Q3.
Brad, you start. What's terrible about it?
No, I don't find anything wrong with this EQ. I like
Tell them why it sucks.
No, that's awesome. I love it.
That's it?
Yeah, it has tilt. It has all sorts of awesome things. It has basically what you would want in an awesome EQ. Finds problems, it chases them like the Surfer EQ. Does all the stuff that Neutron does, but just with like EQ frequency stuff.
Okay, if you had to do a fire, a shootout with Isotope and Fab filter here, who's going to do a better job chasing frequencies?
It's just different. Like,
is Nectar going to beat it?
When you talk about Nectar 3, you talk about like 33, 100 and something plugins together, right?
Yeah.
So there's like de-essing, there's all this stuff.
There's reverb, delays.
And it's all made for vocals, right? It's like they want the one box solution sort of thing.
Oh, see, we found it. This is see, you're not as good. So Fab filter, man, you don't have 100 plugins in one.
Right.
So there, shat on you, dude.
But see, this Fab filter is for like the discerning engineer that knows how to use an EQ. You know what I mean? It just has like additional features that make your life a little easier. It can't de-ess your vocals automatically?
No, there's a lot of clean EQs on the market right now. I feel like we're hitting the peak of clean EQs. I mean, you, for example, like I know that you're alternating. I mean, you can tell me, but between the GML MDW and then you're also going through the Brainworks Digital BX3. I see those on your mixes. Like it's one or the other.
I like the BX, the V3. That's amazing. It's because the mid-side EQing, and you know what? Pro Q3 does that. And the really cool thing about the Pro Q3 is that it does mid-side EQing separate bands.
Bands. That's what
bands.
Bands.
Yeah, literally it can mid-side.
It's got bands.
It can mid-side, like you could just do the sides at 800 hertz, and then you can also do like 1K. So it does basically what like the V3 does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool. I think it's a great tool.
My favorite thing about the Brainworks is that
sounds awesome.
Well, that of course, but the frequency selector. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so convenient.
I love how it solos it out too.
Why are they the only one to do that?
They don't. The MEQ does that as well. You just hit the button and it'll solo it out. It actually peaks it out.
I know. I want the auto though. Anytime you switch it, you know. What I mean? That's what's.
Yeah, that's like a button in the V3, the BX EQ, but that's a mastering EQ. Like the MEQ is not a mastering EQ. It's like an individual track.
Told you there was problems with it. It's not a mastering EQ.
It's not made for that. Like you can get the GML, the mastering version of the GML, the black one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a different EQ altogether. Most of it has to do with linear phase, so there's no phase shifting as you're starting to fuck with these things. But I think phase shifting is colorful and it's cool. And then I think there's times when the only time you want like linear phase EQing is when you're trying to get rid of problems.
Okay, so if you had to keep it, you're on an island and you have, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have 2 EQs. Is the Pro Q3, is that taking any of those spots?
I have to dive deeper into it because like any EQ, like any compressor, it's like a musical instrument to me.
So
like you pick up a guitar, you're like, are you gonna like that Martin? And would you take that brand new Martin or would you take this Martin? And I'm like, I don't know yet. You gotta like play that one and get into it and see what it does well. Does it feel right for what you're doing? Like your sound is your sound. Like when I mix or I master a record, I think about what my sound is, my imprint on the record, and whether I'm fitting the record, what the record's telling me to do and bring out emotionally or not, I still am going to have my imprint on it, which AI is just, they'll do the same thing. You'll be like, oh, they put that through Lander.
Oh, Brad's totally out of a job in 10 years.
That sounds like Isotope, right?
I think this poll is simple, man. It's like... no one's coming for Brad's imprint.
But if you learn how to use the AI tools, the Isotope, like an instrument, you start to use it as one of your instruments that you play, rather than it fucking just you doing something, hitting auto on it. Like you have to know what to feed it and how to play it. Like just how you would play keys, and how you play a certain piano, how the weight is. You don't hit this one as hard as you hit that one, and this one's brighter than that one, and you play different stuff on it. And sometimes like a dark Steinway will bring out more of like, deeper, darker chords and melodies than a bright Yamaha,
Do you think we have too many plugins? More than we need these days?
I do, but
you think there's too many competing manufacturers, like the space is getting a little crowded?
I don't think that I don't think that's a problem. I think the problem is with engineers and producers that they run around trying to use all of them.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important that if you're going to start using a plugin, especially a new one, get deeply involved with it. Try it on so many different things. Fuck with it for, give it some time, give it some mixes, and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, ditch it,
Yeah, my main...
But don't go like, oh, I got to use every Waves plugin I have or whatever. Those are
not even that, yeah.
But that's when you hear bad mixes.
I'd say what bothers me, I guess, about there being this crowded of a space with mixing plugins is that there's too many opinions, and you read these gear magazines and everything is the greatest thing ever.
Well, yeah, they're paid sponsorships.
Of course. And then you go on to like gearsluts.com and then you just see people like,
right.
Everyone like thinks something so awesome, and there's this like hype train for plugins, and if you talk to engineers like in the 1950s, you think they were giving a shit about like the hype train on a plugin?
They're like, we use this and this,
and like, I care about the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Nowadays we have all these tools, but it's very obvious who's out front.
Who's actually making music and who's like talking about making music,
right? Because like the UAD plugins, for example, are out front. They just sound good. They sound, and we're talking about models of analog gear, so there's no arguing with that. You're just like, this is closer to the original, right? And you're like, this is more musical. It has more depth. It has more tone to it. So overall, when you have professional engineers in tuned rooms with millions of dollars worth of listening environments all saying the same thing, don't you think that's something to pay attention to? I mean, I do. If Warren Buffett's going to tell me how to invest my money, I'm going to listen to him rather than like all the fucking magazines telling me how to invest my money. Like, I want the proof.
Yeah, I think of it like this. I just think there's like, I think people, especially like when you get out of like the college crowds, the people who just got out of audio school, they're so focused on like
whatever their professors told them.
Yeah, like
that are not working.
Did you
on
hear
records?
about this plugin, or did you hear about this or that? It's like, do you know how to use it? Like,
it doesn't matter.
Do you
right?
have a tuned room? Is your ear training up enough? Like,
it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it all comes back to like, you know, the way you swing the sword and not the sword. You know what I mean?
But man, listen, it's much more sexy.
Yeah.
To go get like a new Apollo X rack with like all the plugins or a new guitar or a new keyboard with buttons and lights and shit and like, you know, the pack of all the sounds and stuff than it is to like go get panels or like diffusers.
That panel's pretty sexy, man. I'll say that.
Super sexy, man. Physics, but no, I'm telling you, like this is the thing. Like nobody markets panels and acoustic material very well. You know, like even Orlex, they're like, yeah, Orlex, get it, sick.
AI acoustics, dude.
Yeah.
That's the new future. Whoever can make a panel that talks to you, it's over.
No, they actually have AI, not AI, but like digital acoustics, where it's like the firing of a sound wave back at a sound wave sort of thing to cancel it out.
Yeah,
yeah, which is like it's an active membrane, you know. So like if you have a 75 hertz problem and it hits this active membrane, that thing will shoot out, you know, to cancel it. Yeah. And the physics of the room, and you know, it's really interesting stuff, but I think that's just not sexy. Who's gonna market that, man? Like Apple and Steve Jobs and all the marketing they put into Apple as a company made computers sexy, but computers at their core are not sexy. They were like, let's make the design sleek. Let's make all these great marketing things. You know?
Yeah.
1,000 songs in your pocket, the iPod, you know, the iPhone. I don't need a stylus. I'm so sexy. But at the end of the day, this isn't sexy.
But that same approach has kind of been taken to analog gear and plugins and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like the UAD and like doing the analog thing and like you're in a fucking $1 million studio and all this shit. They made that sexy. The buttons, the keyboards from, you know, Native Instruments and check this out.
Yeah, exactly. It can control it.
So sick. I'm so dope. I got my new keyboard.
I'll say this. I want to speak for myself, and why I can talk shit so much is because every piece of analog gear I actually personally own, I used it like a shit ton before I bought it. Like the GML 8200, I used that thing a bunch back when we were in school. Yeah. And then now I just, you know, I was like, I got to have a pair of them because I freaking love that thing. And same with Neves. Any studio I ever recorded out of, Neves were the shit, man.
Yeah.
So,
Neve has a reputation. Same thing, API, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm gonna say is like don't follow the hype. Use it, learn it, and then buy it. Or you know what I mean. There's certain things that are obviously good purchases. Like if there's like a product that obviously doesn't have a close competitor, like Isotope, for example. Mm-hmm. Ozone really doesn't have any very like strong competitors. Yeah. Would you say? Like no, those are things that you're like, that's a safe purchase, you know what I mean? So
I think the important aspect here is if your ears aren't trained, none of it matters. If you have a good room, good monitoring, and your ears are trained, then get the gear. Otherwise, you could do so much with just stock plugins. Like I know it's easy and people love to spend money on plugins thinking that they just up their game. But it's like, if I went back to when I was, 21, 20 years old, 19 or whatever, started mixing and stuff and getting into records, I wouldn't give a shit about any of the Waves plugins. I would have sat there and just tweaked the plugins that came with Pro Tools and just tried to learn what they were doing and figuring out what my ears heard and listening on different playback systems and figuring out what
That's
makes
not sexy,
things.
Brad.
Yeah, right. Like listening to a compressor.
DigiEQs aren't sexy.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why people, oh my God, those guys have it, so you got to get it, and that's what's going to make you awesome. But it's like the same thing that rappers think about getting chains and getting cars and shoes is like, oh, I got to get that, then I'm going to be awesome. But it's like, you're not a dope rapper.
Yeah, for example, people who are using the Fairchild 670 from Universal Audio that are dropping $300 on it.
Right.
That plugin, you can use it, and if you like screw it up because it's a limiter, and you could over compress really easy with it. If you go and do that, it doesn't matter how good it sounds.
Yeah,
it's over compressed, and people aren't. I can
like
hear
shit.
it, and I'm gonna be like, amateur.
Yeah, you got the artifacts,
or you got
a great plugin. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
So learn.
I think it has a lot to engineering is engineering.
Yeah.
Right. So like you got a torque wrench, a brand new torque wrench that you got, and you're working on rebuilding a Mustang. If you torque that nut too hard, or you don't know how to use the torque wrench, you're gonna fucking blow up the engine. Like, come on. Like you got the best paint for your shit, but you don't know how to paint a car. So you fucked up the car.
Just got a really bad paint job with expensive paint.
But that's the thing. Like, I got new wheels for my car. But, like, you're working on it with engineering. You're not just, like, buying a bolt-on part. You're buying into the internal components of engineering and understanding how a compressor, the whole circuitry works. Where does the color come from? How does the attack and release work on this plugin? Is it fixed? What is it, And the ratios and all that. You have to understand the complexities of a compressor, or EQ, or de-esser even, right? You have to understand the internals of it. Or you're going into like a car engine and you're like, dude, I got this fucking new head gasket I got to put on. It's a sick one. I spent $1,000 on the head gasket. But you don't know how to put the head gasket on right. So you just blow up the engine.
Yeah. I just feel like if you don't know what you're doing, you do like certain things, like you have the preset mindset where
100%.
I always get 3 dB of compression out of this. Or,
we get it all the time. We get artists with their reference tracks where it's just presetted the fuck out of stuff. It's out of phase. It sounds god awful. They get temp love on it, because they're like, this is how I like my vocals. But they're listening in an environment their ears can't even hear that it sounds like shit. So the problem with it is that a year or 2 years go by, they learn a lot more and they go, dude, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, I think you always learn though. You're deep learning, you're an AI yourself. So
yeah, 100%.
Maybe not the artificial part, but you're definitely intelligent. So you're always going to make something better, in 3 years than
hopefully,
you did.
If you care. If you don't care, then you won't. It's true. Like, if you don't care about the music.
At least you think you will, you know what I mean?
You think you will, yeah.
At least that.
You have that idea in your head, like all those fucking stupid quotes about like, just keep going and then you're going to get it. And you're like, no, you have to keep going and learning and not do the same shit over and over again. Like, I think it's really important to understand that. With engineering, you're making constant fixes, right? You're tweaking your process. You don't just like throw your monitors in a room and go, that's good, I've just mixed like that forever, and then realize like your mixes aren't getting better. Well, who cares what kind of gear you get? Like, you got to tweak your process the whole time and get it better and better and better. Anyway, we can talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in summary,
don't be a dickhead.
We hate AI and we shit on AI companies.
We hate AI. We hate the top 10 billboards.
Top 10, some garbage. No, I'm just kidding.
Bunch of bullshit. No, honestly.
And Brad's feeling like an old man is what he said. So
yeah, I'm just kind of sick still. But honestly, at the end of the day, I want to be able to put out these podcasts for people to learn and think about learning. You know what I mean? Like go into it. Start reading about the Pro Q3. Read about isotope and the AI learning and stuff. Read
about acoustics.
Right. Go learn about Lander. What does it do?
Invest in some panels.
Start tweaking your ears, figuring out your sound. Like, listen on headphones. If you're in a room with HS8s in your bedroom, you're fucking up, I promise. Your mixes are not good. And you may think they're really good, but... No, shots fired, right. But dude, like...
He's talking that spit.
But this is the thing, like, you don't know what you're doing. If you're using HS8s in a bedroom and you haven't tuned out the room, shot the room with a program and a microphone that's good for that, know what your actual shit looks like, and that's it. If you haven't done that, you can't even think that your mixes are coming out fire.
But if you have rockets and you're in a bedroom...
Sure, you could use rockets even, but fucking shoot your room, understand what's going on. Because I guarantee you're going to have a problem in 100 hertz to 300 hertz. Somewhere in there, you're going to have modes. So anyway, hope you guys take a lot from this. I hope you learned something about something.
At Radium_Media.
Go follow us at underscore medium. What is it?
At Bradley_HD.
No, it's not. At Bradley HD. At KDE Beats. Go follow all the Instagram accounts. We're going to keep posting awesome shit. And here's the thing, like for all the people out there that are actually listening to these podcasts, I get like DMs and stuff, but dude, like it's so much more helpful if you just tell your friends. Just tell someone, tell one person. If it helps you with music industry stuff, getting better at engineering, learning a new plugin, a new tool, then go share it with someone.
Okay.
Please. We don't charge anything. We don't have ads on this. Like we're getting on, this is 40 episodes here.
Yeah, let's do a last tally. So last week, I said this before, we had Tory Lanez versus Joyner Lucas, and the world has decided because we were checking.
The world has decided. all 25 people that voted.
Yeah, so what did the world decide? Oh, Joyner Lucas won.
Oh,
57%.
57
versus 43 on Tory Lanez. Well, that's what the world decided.
That's what the Instagram crowd decided.
The Radium Instagram crowd.
And this was an Instagram battle, so.
Damn.
Burn. All right, thanks for tuning in. Get ready for 41. Get ready for 50. It's all coming. It's going to come quick. Hope you guys have a great holiday season.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Shalom.